Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Bitcoin Brief with your host, Tone Vase, and I am joined by Jimmy Song. It was great to see you again on Monday on our past show. This is like really reliving the old days when it was just me and you, or you and I. Let me be English correct here. You and I, and it was mostly how we got started in the space. It was surrounding all of the tech of the user-activated soft fork, what's going to happen with the fork. Used to do all those shows. The forking show, man, missed those days. It was a good combination of finance and tech. So, Jimmy, any announcements? Anything you want to start off with? And then we'll take a look at what the latest news has. We're going to do it live. I'm just going to open up Coinbase. We're going to go through the headlines. If a headline jumps out at you or at me, we'll open it and we'll take a look.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good, sort of like remembering the old days, like that 8-hour show that we did that started off as just you and me, and then somehow like blew up to be this huge thing because the Bitcoin Cash was going to fork and all that stuff. Yeah, I can't believe that was almost like 2 years ago, isn't it?
I know. It's insane. Time flies, man.
Yeah, dude. What happened to your beard, though? Like, I think you owe an explanation to your viewers.
I wanted to give my skin a little bit of a break. I'm gonna grow it back. It's just a temporary pause. I'll bring it back. It's not a big deal. I like the beard, but I also like the clean shaven look. So, and also I have to get a haircut. Like, it's been so long. Like, this is how bad it's gotten. So,
Yeah, no. This is like the old Toad Vase again. What's going on?
I know.
What's going on?
I know. I was traveling for like 2 or 3 months, and I was, you know what? I came to an apartment that I'm familiar with for a week, and decided to go retro here. But I'll be back. I'll be back to the new look very, very soon, and eventually it'll be permanent. It's like a slow transition to the new look.
Yes, it is. It's a very, very slow transition. We'll see though. I think yeah, you definitely look like the old Tone Vase for a little bit, at least with the hat and everything. So yeah. All right. Should we go on to the stories?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go take a look. And I'm just gonna, I'm gonna keep it simple. I don't have anything crazy up, so I'll just do the full screen share. Okay. So it's my calendar, guys. I'm off to Mexico. Probably, I don't remember at this point. Probably Sunday. I'm off to Mexico, and I'll be at Talentland, then Mexico City, and then next month I will be speaking back in New York. I'll speak at the BEF event workshop. I'm not speaking at Jimmy. Are you speaking at Consensus this year again?
I am. I'm gonna be on a panel with my good friend Ken Liu, who's a sci-fi writer. So that's gonna be interesting.
Okay. Why?
Well, we're gonna talk about like the future. Well, it's gonna be part of the Construct sub conference of Consensus, and that's more aimed towards developers. So
yeah, you know what? I haven't Googled. I haven't looked. Are you gonna be at Magical Crypto as well?
Yes, I am. So, I might stop by your workshop or something and say hi, because, I'm not going to be there the whole day. But yeah, 11th and 12th, I think my talk is on the afternoon of the 12th. And my seminar is on the 16th and 17th, right after Consensus.
All right. So, Jimmy, your seminar is here. And right after Consensus, I will be off to Europe. I will be back in Malta, and then Italy, and then Bulgaria, and then Amsterdam, and then on the cruise, and then in Germany, and then I'll go to New Hampshire for PorcFest. So that's pretty much my schedule, guys. All right. So one article before we get into the CoinDesk side of things. Someone sent it to me this morning. I didn't really have a full time to look. Blockchain's billion-dollar babies, cryptocurrencies, maybe in the depth of winter, but it's early spring for the new business applications. So these are like the billion-dollar companies that are quasi-involved or involved in blockchain. And at the bottom, they actually have some kind of a list. Or wait, this is the list. I thought it was, the article fully loaded. That's why. Oh yeah, here's the list. And Amazon is on here, not exactly sure why, but Bitfury, obviously, some banks that are working. Like, I think this is a weird list. Like, I don't really consider Facebook as involved in the blockchain space. Like, that's crazy to me. Fidelity, maybe, Google, Amazon. I don't know about this.
Well, I mean, so they all have something, right? So Amazon has blockchain as a service on their AWS platform. Facebook has the Facebook cryptocurrency that they've been talking about. So basically, what this article is doing is taking anybody that's expressed any interest at all in anything blockchain or Bitcoin related, and then put them on this list, which is kind of like saying, okay, well, who's interested in anything related to the internet in like 1993 or something like that? It kind of seems like they're stretching it out a little bit. If one small division of a large company is doing anything with it, then they put them on this list.
Yeah, so check it out, guys. I guess you can find some serious companies that have expressed interest in blockchain, and then you have to figure out what definition of blockchain are they interested in. So apparently there's some kind of a movie coming out with Kurt Russell or a show about crypto. CoinDesk just published an article. It's not about crypto and it's really bad. I don't think that's worthy of clicking on. EY launches Nightfall to bring businesses to Ethereum. That's just stupid. I don't think we need to click on that. Gate.io raises $64 million for exchange cryptocurrency. This I want to click on.
Mm-hmm. I think you should.
So crypto exchange Gate.io, that's not Gatecoin, right? The one that got shut down?
No. But this is the exchange that I remember suffered from one of the massive double spends that they did with one of those coins. And they made everybody whole. I imagine that's why they needed to raise the money. But that's pretty crazy that it's I guess it's Gatecoin or Gate tokens, GT, I guess that's or Gate Point. It's all confusing. There's multiple different assets.
Well, they didn't actually raise $64 million. They sold a shitcoin and they collected $64 million.
Apparently, yes. And it won't be launched on a blockchain for at least 6 months, according to the article, which is, I can't believe there are still companies that could do this. Like, I thought this died like a year ago.
No, but of course they can, right? Because they have to compete with the Binance scam token somehow.
And the Huobi token, and I don't know. I think there's multiple other tokens.
Binance changed the bar. Binance printed a useless token. They're claiming that you needed to run exchange operations, something that has never needed before an exchange operation for the prior 50 years of running exchanges. But Binance has the scam token. And now, unless an exchange has two choices, they can either die. I mean, they could be BitMax, right? Like BitMax doesn't need to print a token because they're in a very niche space, right? But if you're actually an exchange that does the same thing that Binance does, you have two choices. You can shut down your operation now, or you can actually three choices. Sorry, you can either shut down operations and admit Binance got you. You can try to scam everyone with the scam token the way Binance did it, or you can try to get the regulators to go after Binance. I mean, those are your only three choices because you can't compete with someone that is printing a useless token and going public on an unregulated stock market with their token before they actually did anything, right? Like you just can't compete with that.
No, you can't. And Binance token has a market cap of over $1 billion. It's worth more than Bitcoin SV and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's about as centralized as you can get, right? Like, it's only useful on this one site, and it was issued by the same player. So it's, I mean, if that doesn't show that these things are completely centralized and can get regulated, and regulators, if you're listening, that's a honeypot for you. Like you could tax the crap out of some of this stuff, and they'll try moving jurisdictions or something to make it seem like they're doing whatever. But I mean, eventually they're going to have to pay the piper. So that's my gut feeling on these.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they keep moving around jurisdictions that kind of give them the free reign to do this. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, right? Like I'm critical of Binance because of that, like because they scammed their way into the industry and were able to get to the top of it because of issuing that token. But yeah, so now everyone has to follow suit. The IEO, what's an IEO? So we've had the ICO and then we had the STO. What's the IEO?
Initial exchange offerings. So these are basically ICOs, but tokens issued by exchanges, like you were saying.
Well, I got it. So the ICOs, but issued specifically by exchanges in order to operate the exchange.
Yeah, except it's not a coin offering in the traditional sense, in that you have a coin on Binance or whatever. It's like absolutely and completely centralized because you just have tokens on the exchange, right? Like you don't even need to have anything on a blockchain.
Why don't you offer an IJO, an initial Jimmy offering, and give people discounts if they use your token to attend your workshop or let's say buy the book from you?
I guess I could. It'd be I mean, it's closer to maybe like airline miles, except they're selling it for insane amounts of money, like $1 per airline mile or something ridiculous like that.
No, but it's not. No, but it's not the same thing, right? Because 12-year-olds cannot buy airline miles, and there is no decentralized exchange to sell your airline miles to some 12-year-old on an anonymous exchange.
Well, so I mean, it's not a decentralized exchange; it's still completely centralized. They just happen to be in a jurisdiction that's not regulated.
I meant unregulated. You're right.
Yeah. But yeah, initial exchange offerings are a thing, and this is going to be a bigger and bigger thing. Like if they raise $64 million this way, every exchange that gets in trouble because of random stuff that's been happening, say they get hacked or whatever. Oh my gosh, it makes no sense to me that people are trusting exchanges to the degree they are, given the history of how many hacks exchanges have suffered from and how many of the founders have like sort of run away with the money. The fact that like they're like this is like pyramiding on top of another like scam. I don't understand. It's going to be like a bigger blow up than before. At least with Mount Gox, you just lost the amount that was in there. With these IEOs, you're going to lose the money that you bought the tokens with on top of anything that you might have had deposited there. So, and then like, I assume that the exchange token incentivizes you to keep the token on that exchange. So it's like
what else would you do with it?
I know, right? It's like, well, you get better trading fees or something, I guess. I don't know.
But again, like here's the insanity, right? Like let's take Binance, right? Like people are like Binance, they have like the best developers, How good can Binance developers be if they built their ICO token on top of Ethereum, which is an unscalable piece of nonsense?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of ICOs, right? Like, and I guess they're very good script kiddies and can type out JavaScript from a template or something like that. I mean, it really doesn't take anything to do an ERC20 token, and they might be good developers, but it really doesn't take much to copy and paste a template and then add in your symbol and a couple of other parameters.
All right. Well, the whole Craig Wright saga goes on. I think Kraken now, I thought I heard something about Kraken delisting BSV. So yep. I guess now the exchanges have decided to delist BSV because Craig Wright and Calvin Ayre decided to pick a fight with a cartoon cat in a space suit Where the hell were these exchanges not to list BSV in the first place? Or how about a better one? Where were these exchanges not to list Bitcoin Cash? So this is what I got pissed the other day on. I am not praising Kraken. I am not praising Binance for doing shit they were supposed to do from the start, not to put outright scams on their exchange, but then they wouldn't have a business. Like now they decide to take a stand.
Yeah. I mean, this is very obviously sort of like cowing to the mob a little bit. And I have like mixed feelings about this. I like that BSV is delisted in the sense that, you know, they won't be able to claim that they're Bitcoin, and you know, like people won't see the BSV ticker wherever. But at the same time, I like the exchanges are making it, you know, they're trying to position themselves as kingmakers, right? Like, oh, we legitimize coins by listing them or whatever. That's not the case, right? Like, the legitimacy of a coin isn't dependent on whether an exchange will list them or not, and that's a centralization that I don't like. That said, you know, you're absolutely right about like BSV and BCH and all these other things. I mean, like you're gonna take a moral stand now, right? Like it seems very convenient of them to come to this conclusion right at this moment. Really, the time to take a stand was when you actually it would have cost you something, right? Like not listing it after you know, BCH was split like right then or something like that. You know, I mean, yeah, you still allow withdrawals because, you know, like you know, people have you know, Bitcoin ABC or whatever that they're entitled to. But like actually having it on the exchange, the moral stand to like when you take that stand was when it split off, and not, you know, after Craig Wright is acting really badly and like suing people and doing ridiculous things. I mean, the guy's a scammer, and he's been known to be a scammer. Everybody thought he was a scammer ever since he came out. It was show us a signature with Satoshi's Genesis key or get the fuck out. And basically he didn't manage to do that. So he's I mean, he's a scammer and known as a scammer for that reason.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. All right. So, they settled. This is probably something for the law show. I'm curious how they settled.
Well, I didn't even know he was suing them. That's
no. Winklevoss twins were suing Charlie.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes. So apparently, back in the day, back when Charlie was running BitInstant, Winklevoss were sending him like, you know, remember how we say Winklevoss have all this money, right? So they were sending him like tens of thousands of dollars to buy Bitcoin for them. And then when it was all said and done, sometime in 2015, 2016, I guess they did a bit of an accounting, and they realized that Charlie hadn't actually given them all of the Bitcoin that they asked that they were buying from him. So they claimed that there was like 5,000 Bitcoin missing or something like a substantial amount. And then they started doing, I guess they paid a lot of money for some Chainalysis and stuff. And they found out that I guess they had enough evidence to show that Charlie did buy the Bitcoin with their money, but never actually gave it to them. So and then they ended up suing Charlie for the current value of that Bitcoin instead of the value of the Bitcoin at the time, right? And obviously this was after this was a recent lawsuit, and so I'm not really sure how they settled because I don't think Charlie has any money.
Well, I don't know. He's been working, you know, ever since he got out of prison, and I think he's done pretty well for himself.
I don't think work after prison will get you $26 million. Dude.
Not quite that much money, but I mean, he's not broke. Let's just say
he's not broke, but he's not like and Charlie, like it's I'm probably doing Charlie a favor here. Charlie, pretend to be broke because everyone's gonna want to sue you for the millions from back from the 2012-13 days, you know. So the more broke you are, the better it will be for these lawsuits. I'm not sure how they settled. We'll save it for the law show. But that was the case basically. Yeah. So right there. So it was in 2012, 5,000 Bitcoin, currently worth $26 million. So they were, and the average price of that Bitcoin was supposed to be $12.50. And that's what they were doing Charlie for. So
I mean, this just goes to show, like, you know, if you don't act with integrity now, when Bitcoin is a lot higher, like the little bit of screwing of people that you might be doing as an exchange or as an operator or whatever, that's going to come back and bite you hard because people are going to demand the Bitcoin like value of this stuff 10 years from now and not like right now. So, I mean, all of these operators that are acting all shady and stuff like that, all of these ICOs and, you know, like any of them that took Bitcoin for a lot of that, a lot of their fundraising and stuff like that. Guys, I mean, like the liability that you are racking up from a legal standpoint is enormous, especially as Bitcoin increases in price. So, oh man, I mean, like this is just a good example of what could happen to you. You might get sued 8 years from now before the statute of limitations runs out about, you know, some small amount of Bitcoin that you screwed a user out of that they figured out like you were actually screwing them on, but they're going to demand the Bitcoin. So, man, not going to be pretty for you guys.
Yeah. So the statement from Charlie Shrem. From day one, I've maintained the allegations are bogus, and they are, of course. After their attorney was sanctioned and they were ordered to pay my legal fees twice, we recently reached a confidential resolution, and I'm dismissed from the case. I'm thankful to Brian Klein and my legal team, and pleased to have this behind me. That was a statement from Charlie Shrem. So, hey, Charlie, congrats, man. You got out of it.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, like he still had to go to prison for completely different reasons, but you know, I mean, like, yeah, I'm happy that like this must be a giant weight off his back, and you know, like being free of that obligation and so on.
Are you familiar with Bolt Labs?
I am not, but that sounds interesting. Let's keep
Bolt
going.
Labs raised 1.5 million seed round to boost Lightning privacy. According to researcher Dr. Ayo Aikenali, not familiar with the work, is working on a cryptographic solution to boost privacy across second layer blockchain solutions like Lightning Network for Bitcoin. Aikenali just announced the formation of Bolt Labs, named after the Bolt protocol. Not familiar with that either. We'll open that up. That aims to give Lightning hubs shielded addresses for anonymous payment channels. The startup, I already see the word Ripple ahead of me, so I know where this might be going. The startup is launching with a 1.5 million seed round led by Decred Capital and support from Ripple's investment arm. Well, yeah, I mean, if Ripple is going to print a bunch of money, they got to find something to do with it. Xspring plus Lemonscap plus a bunch of others. Okay. Furthermore, electronic coin company CEO Zuko Wilcox, great. Why don't you just say the Zcash nonsense, is advising Bolt Labs. Oh, this is already terrible. And helping the startup create its first proof of concept this summer for the privacy coin Zcash, which doesn't use Lightning like Bitcoin ultimately. Oh, God. Stepping back, Bolt is still an experimental software idea, but theoretically applied directly to the cryptocurrency node, which communicates. I mean, it could be useful. I mean, if shitcoins that printed their own money want to fund something that could eventually end up being useful for Bitcoin, I guess I'm okay with that. But like, you shouldn't be investing in this nonsense, like as a regular user through the coins of those companies like Ripple and Zcash.
Well, so what it sounds like is they want a zero knowledge way of doing like the Lightning stuff. I mean, it's kind of solving a non-existent problem at the moment. Like there's nobody going, oh my gosh, people are doing all this analysis on Lightning channels and, you know, like taking away my privacy or whatever. I mean, which basically is the model for every altcoin and ICO. It's solving non-existent problems. But I mean, it's like the Bolt standard is a well-known standard in Bitcoin, and that is basically how the Lightning protocol is written. It's in the Bolt standard basically. But yeah, it's they're trying to do something like a zero knowledge, passing of stuff. I don't know if this solves anything. I honestly don't, because you already have a good deal of privacy already. Any of the middle hop nodes in any sort of Lightning route, they don't know anything about the two end nodes. And really, they just keep passing it on. And then like once you like you use some of the channel liquidity or whatever. But the amount is the only thing that really you get to know anything about. You don't know who it's coming from. You don't know who it's going to, and the people that know are the two people that need to know, which is the person that's sending and the person that's receiving. So doesn't really make sense to me. And I don't know. Maybe they can figure out some other way to super private, make it super private. But again, it's not really solving a problem that anyone's really crowing about and saying, "Oh, Lightning's not private enough." As it is, it's pretty private. It's certainly more than the Bitcoin blockchain. Like on-chain transactions are a record forever. Lightning transactions are essentially ephemeral, and only the settlement transactions get on-chain.
Well, look, you guys aren't gonna like my view on this, right? Like, I hate all these shit coins, especially Ripple. I mean, Zcash isn't as bad, right? Like, they shouldn't exist. They have no reason to exist, right? Bitcoin will have everything it needs just from the effort of people that believe in Bitcoin, right? Now, if you, these companies, like Jimmy, you and I both know that in 10 years, Zcash, it may still exist, but it's going to be irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, right? I'm not sure it's that relevant now in the greater scheme of things. I mean, they are doing like stuff in zero knowledge proofs and stuff, which is great for like sort of mathematical, discovery and things like that. But as a coin, I don't know how many people are using their privacy feature, so I'm not sure how relevant it is.
No one's. It's not relevant at all now, right? But like in 5-10 years, it's going to be completely irrelevant, right? But these people that became popular because they started a useless coin, these people got very, very rich. They got very, very popular on something that is nonsense. They now have the money to throw around. So if this actually ends up being useful on Bitcoin, it was going to be built on Bitcoin regardless. And it was going to be built by people that believe in Bitcoin. But now these people that became rich off of creating scam coins will be forever known as some kind of geniuses, and how much they helped the Bitcoin code by spreading money around that they scammed off of unqualified investors, right? So I know I won't forget, and this is why even more recently than before, I'm really like going off on Charlie Lee over the whole T-Pay garbage, and something like this, right? Like, again, you print money out of thin air, you take money off of the miners, like Zcash does. They have a bunch of money to throw around, and they know their currency is going to fail. I mean, they have to know. Some of those people are somewhat smart. They have over 100 IQ, so they have to know that their currency is going to fail, right? But what it does, they're always going to be there saying, but we funded both, and now you guys in Bitcoin are beneficiaries of what we've done. And I'm going to be here to tell them, no, you are not.
Yeah, to a large degree, I'd be surprised if they came up with something that would be really useful for the Bitcoin blockchain. Because, I mean, ZK snarks and stuff like that. I don't like it would require all sorts of hard forks to do. I don't know. Maybe there's some clever way to do a zero knowledge on a layer 3 on top of Lightning itself or something like that. But I again, it's a solution looking for a problem, and that's always like not a good thing to invest in generally. I found as an investor, like you need real problems that you're solving and not theoretical ones that might happen in some particular version of reality.
All right, I think I'm good on the news, man. I mean, there are a lot of news that's coming out. This is all from like today. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, one of my former students is actually finally adding SegWit to Gemini, so I'm very proud of him for doing that. So, good on you, getting a job at Gemini and doing all that stuff and making the Bitcoin ecosystem better by reducing the block space taken by Gemini.
I'm just glancing through these. Wow, KuCoin still in the news.
Self-custody, that's an interesting thing. I don't know how they would do that, but yeah, that's good.
Jeez. Why Coinbase is moving to proof of stake matters. What is this?
I think it's maybe they started.
Before we go down, your friend Joe Lubin is looking for $200 million in new funding.
Yeah. Let's click through that because that itself is kind of funny. I did read this story. He's apparently looking for a couple $100 million for Consensus. They burned through quite a bit of cash in the last, 12 to 16 months or so. And that was all fine while Ethereum was going up. But now that Ethereum has crashed, they can't afford a lot of this stuff anymore, right? And Joe was
do anything. They're a consulting firm.
Well, so the thing is, they fund a ton of ICOs. So Gnosis, for example, is like I think a competitor to what's that other one that's like enables betting or something like that.
Augur?
Yeah. So they're a competitor to Augur that's under the Consensus umbrella, and that's something that Joe mentioned actually like a year ago when I was on that panel with him. But he has a bunch of these ICOs, and like what he's famous for is like on payday he will liquidate some of like he will pay in Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever you want, but not like fiat money. So he keeps all of the wealth of Consensus in cryptocurrency, and then he pays using that. So this bear market has to have hurt seriously. And something that I tweeted out not too long ago is, he's looking for a ton of money or whatever, but how can you trust this guy? The guy offered me a bet on stage at Consensus almost a year ago, and he's been dragging his feet ever since, right? Like, he's not going to follow through on anything that he says. So why would you give him money?
This company has like 200 employees, and they made 21 million in revenue, not profit, revenue.
Yep. And most of it is in their consulting arm on how to make ICOs or how to do blockchain for some of these giant firms that don't know what the hell they're doing, right? Like going to their innovation lab at like, some large firm and saying, okay, well, we can consult for you at this much per hour. I mean, that's a very short-term gain. You're not going to be able to do that for very long. So, yeah, I mean, Joe's looking for 200 million, and that's kind of I mean, I don't know why any investor would give him money, given that he doesn't even follow through on a freaking bet.
I'm looking at this. What is this Coinbase proof of stake stuff?
I think what she's talking about, I think that's Lei Kuan. It's that they have proof of stake tokens, maybe. I don't know. Tezos and Cosmos have staking components to them.
That's interesting. So Coinbase is going to be so they're going to add a bunch of proof of stake coins for people to trade, and when people are trading those tokens, Coinbase is going to be staking them and collecting more coins.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the idea. I mean, there's a bunch of startups now that are doing some sort of like staking reward return kind of things. They're saying, okay, well, you can get 2% here, 4% here, 6% here, and
Do these people
that'll be a
realize
return.
do these people realize that this is worse than like the traditional financial system with the interest?
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that when you get to print your own money and spread some of it around to, people that are quote unquote staking, to the holders or something like that, that you like that's an economics that work as long as the price stays stable or goes up. Soon as you get into a bear market though, or as soon as there are flaws shown in this whole model, or that it's like the centralized fragility sort of shows itself, you're not gonna have a very good time. It's a very fragile system that all of these places are building. But in a sense, I mean, Coinbase is already a little bit fragile, so taking on a little more fragility, I don't think is that terrible.
By the way, have you seen this? I haven't had a chance to tweet it out, but I showed it earlier today on the Hyperwave podcast. I absolutely love this. It actually like frustrates me because I've spent about 6 hours over the last 2 days trying to like do this by hand. And these guys they like, which I love, by the way. They do some really cool work. They put this out, so it's basically the market cap of the top 10 coins since 2013. So once this thing rolls over into 2019, so you can see how Stellar, there's Bitcoin Cash going into number 3. But you really want to keep an eye on that bottom half of the list and how crazy it is, right? So there it is, starting from 2013. So we can see some of the gems. How do I make this bigger? I don't think I can. But here, but look at these amazing names. Nova Coin at number 5.
Feathercoin. I remember Feathercoin. Prime Coin, Terra Coin.
WorldCoin makes it to that. Cork made it all the way into the top 5.
Omni made it. Oh my gosh. Counterparty
made it to the top 5. NXT made it to number 3.
Yeah.
Dash made it to number 3.
Dogecoin shows up. MadeSafe Coin.
MadeSafe is in the top 5.
BitShares. First Dan Larimer scam. Yeah.
And Counterparty was all the way up there too.
Yeah. There was Dash keeps coming back in and out. Yeah. Dogecoin, Stellar makes it.
The Banks coin made it to number 6.
MadeSafe Coin was up there for a while, huh? That's crazy. Well, I mean, back then it was like $10 million market cap would get you.
Dude, Peer Coin was in the top 10 for like 5 years. Factum made it to the top 10. Then made it all the way to number 5. Lisk.
Oh, the Dow. Dow makes
it to number 5, man. The Dow made it to number 5.
Well, it was 1/6 of all Ethereum at one point.
Dude, I think there was Aphrodite Coin made it to number 5. Aurora Coin made it to number 2. I don't know. Maybe they missed that one. I didn't see it I didn't see it.
Golem,
IOTA, BitConnect. Watch. BitConnect shows up.
Yeah.
There it is.
BitConnect. There it is. Yeah. Litecoin is still on there. EOS, Net, IOTA,
Cardano is in the top 5.
Yep.
Tron made it.
Tether.
Okay, so what I try to tell people is, if your Bitcoin SV is right there, Tether made it all the way into the top 5, but Tether is a little different. Okay, so what I try to tell people is, if your coin has been around for over 6 months and it has not made it yet into the top 10, because clearly it's so easy, it is worse than the Dow, Paycoin, which made it to number 3, Aurora Coin, which made it to number 2, and BitConnect, which made it to number 7. Those coins have done, those coins are way more respectable than your coin because they've actually made it into the top 10. So you really want to think about, before you start shilling your coin that has not yet made it to the top 10 and has been around for a few months. There you go. And everything in the top 10 other than Bitcoin will eventually leave the top 10, like it all has, including Ethereum and including Ripple and including Litecoin. They've left the top 10 before, they will leave the top 10 again, and eventually they won't be back. Just like almost everything that's been in the top 10 back in 2013 and 14. If you think the space right now is any different than it was in 2014 or 15, you are greatly mistaken and you're new here. Jimmy, your little rant, go.
Yeah, I mean, this is very clearly an indication of how irrational the markets can get. And temporary irrationality tends to sort of even itself out over time. What I have noticed, though, is that it took a lot less to get into the top 10 previously. And you need more and more marketing dollars essentially in order to get into the top 10, right? EOS and Binance and Tron all spent tremendous amounts of money.
No, Jimmy, I got to challenge that here, right? No one was raising $4 billion like EOS did off of, a tweet, right? So I don't think it was easier. I mean, like, yeah, you require way more marketing dollars these days, but your ICOs are making 1,000 times more on launch than they did before.
I'm just saying you can't just do it with like a keyboard and a computer like you used to be able to, right? Like Aurora Coin, somebody just like made it in like 10 minutes. And then like they said it was going to be used for this, and this, locked up a ton of it. And then, it was in the top 5 really, really quickly. A lot of these coins were like that. But the capital to get started on this stuff, it's significantly more now. That's the thing I'm noticing, and that's probably a trend that's going to continue. If you want to get into the top 10, you're going to need to spend a lot of money to get there. But I mean, the returns might be fantastic, I guess, for the people that are creating the coin, not so much for the holders, obviously. So the crazy thing to me is are the two that, I mean, Litecoin, I can kind of understand why it's still up there. I mean, they had a fair launch. They didn't have a pre-mine, unlike most of these other coins.
Well, I understand why Ripple is up there too, and Ethereum.
Why do you think Ripple's up there? Because that's the one that confuses me, because it's completely centralized.
Well, it's good, but they have 1 billion tokens, right? So all they need is like for their token to be worth 10 cents, and they're in the top 10. I mean, Ripple shouldn't be on this list at all, but because they're on the list, it makes sense that they're always going to be in the top 5. They have 100 billion tokens.
Yeah, I mean, it could be just some serious unit bias, and that's certainly something that like Tron took advantage of. Their coins are like really, really cheap. There's just like billions and billions of them. So,
right. So it's Stellar, right? I mean, Stellar is just a clone of Ripple because Jeb McCaleb didn't get a chance to cash out his Ripple.
Yeah, and I honestly wonder like how many of these coins will like sort of go through the fire of all the lawsuits and headaches that are coming to them. I mean,
well, that's the thing, right? Like we're waiting for the lawsuits. I don't know have you been paying attention to my fight with TokenPay?
I saw a little bit of it. I mean, clearly they plagiarized some letter and sent it to you or something. I mean,
yeah. But let me show you something. I know people are like dying for me to get to the price. Last one I. Where am I here?
Well, you just showed everybody your email address, but that's okay.
Yeah, but everybody knows my email address, and it's in every YouTube video. It's in my YouTube description. So I don't know why it did that, but anyway, yeah, it's not.
You need to go to click on your name. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I was gonna show you this. So after the whole thing, so here's why the lawyers are having a problem getting the. Oh, by the way, the TPay community is trying to get me banned on Twitter. So good luck with that. So here, check this out. This is the best. Let me get the audio going here.
You got to turn it on.
Yeah, I had a question.
Here, listen.
I got questions. Yeah, I had a question. I appreciate you guys making this happen and you being here, Derek. But the question.
Oh, my bad. Shit, I screwed that up. I clicked out of it.
Yeah, I had a question. I appreciate you guys making this happen and you being here, Derek. But the question I had, I've been going through ICOs and researching a little bit. And how safe are we here in the U.S. Not being an accredited investor investing in this ICO?
How safe as you or for us?
For myself.
You guys are fine. I think one thing I've learned a lot in the industry, especially since working in the finances, as long as the people make money, like nobody complains.
You heard that, Jimmy?
Yeah. As long as I mean, everything works when the price keeps going up, right?
Yeah, as long as the scam keeps making you money, no one's gonna complain. That really worked out for BitConnect too.
Yeah. I mean, like anything that has exponential growth will stop at some point. It's just a matter of
no. But people really sent in some really awesome clips. Like they're gonna be classics. I have to play one more for the record in case these videos go away. At least they're right here.
Yeah, I think that took just took time.
Yeah, like many products like last year.
Yeah, I think that took time. Yeah, it took time. The original expectation was that the bank accounts would be available by the end of last year. And what ended up happening was, they just get.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh man, it's really amazing. All right. Anyway, I think it's time for some price talk. But before that, Jimmy, which website am I going? ProgrammingBitcoin.com?
Yeah. And later today, and just for you guys, I'm going to tell you that there's going to be a store available, and you will be able to buy my book using Lightning Network and things like that. So that's been in the works, and the good folks at Blockstream have been helping me. So very excited to have that getting going. But yeah, my book is out on Amazon. You can buy it there as well. And my seminar, the next seminar that I'm going to have is in New York, May 16th and 17th, right after Consensus. You can also sign up for my newsletter, and you can apply now by clicking that Apply Now button. So that's how you can do it.
All right, and check out Jimmy in New York. He's gonna come in for a few conferences, his workshop. Go ahead and check that out. If you're looking to learn how to program Bitcoin, go ahead and sign up, and you'll have to take a little bit of a quiz so that Jimmy knows that you have some programming experience.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks again. I'll let you go. I'll take a look at the price a little bit, and then it's going to be time to call it a day. Hey, thanks for glancing at the news with me, man. It was good to catch up.
Yeah, and it's like the old days, right? Like I don't know, maybe it'll start ramping back up. I did notice that the monthly candle went above the 50-day or the moving average, and every time that it's done that, it seems to have broken out. So if that's the case, then maybe we have a bull run coming. I don't know. Is the bear market?
Maybe. But the thing is, right now it's still stuck under. It has to close above the moving average, and it hasn't done that.
Okay. I mean, you can see the 2 breakout over there. Well, that wasn't above the purple line. It was above the yellow line, though.
Yes. You still have that purple one, and you know what? Let's not count our chickens, man. We still got 2 weeks to go here, so let's
it just needs to close above it, and then we're in a bullish market.
Maybe it definitely increases the probability of it. That's for damn sure.
Okay, all right. Well, that's the only question I had. So thanks, Stone. Maybe see you in another show in the next few days.
Yeah, no, we'll try to get one more in before I go away again, which is going to be like Sunday or Monday. All right, Jimmy, thanks again for joining. And let me take a look at the price. I'm really looking forward to looking at Lyft, actually.
All right, well, this song is done. Bye, guys.
Later, man. All right, let's take a look at this weekly chart. This is the weekly time analysis chart, which is going to get a huge update one of these days. But the critical date to keep an eye on is the October 5th, 2019. and we're not really that close to it yet, so I still have time to do this analysis. If you look at this weekly chart, we are kind of just stuck up here. So as long as we're stuck up here, there's really nothing going on. I have it circled. I'm just going to slide the circle over a little, and still same circle. And here we are in that bull trap area of 5,100, and we're still in that vicinity. Just because we went all the way up to 54 and then went all the way back down to 50 to pretty much under 5,000 means we are in the $5,100 vicinity, which I refer to as a bull trap. I'm going to continue to assume that to be the case. Okay. Another look at the weekly chart using our real-time updated price, which is Bitstamp. And we can see that we are potentially going to close at a new weekly high. If we close at a new weekly swing high, that is bullish. But until we close at a new weekly high, we are just going to watch the weekly candle. Now, the weekly candle is a green 2, but it is not above the green 1, and it is not above the wick of the 9, but it is above the close of the 9. It is something, but it's not all that significant. So we will continue to wait and see what happens at the close of the weekly candle. The daily chart is in a no trade zone. Those of you that watched Hyperwave earlier today, I was educated on how to add the NVT signal to my daily charts. So now we have yet an additional indicator that could be useful on Bitcoin and not so much on other assets. And you can see that the NVT indicator is pretty stressed. And every time that happens, it seems to not do very well for the price of Bitcoin. So the NVT here is bearish, but keep in mind, the expert of the NVT, Willy Woo, will be joining this podcast on Saturday morning. We're putting the finishing touches in play. It'll be Willy Woo, Murad. Murad's, I think it's his trading partner, but maybe let me not say anything, right? It'll be Willy Woo, Murad, David Paul against myself and Tyler and maybe Van Zandt. So Tyler and I are obviously bears, but it seems like Willy Woo and Murad have turned bullish. So we will have a nice little chat on Saturday morning. Don't miss it. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So Saturday US time in the morning, I believe Willie is somewhere in Europe. Other guys are somewhere in North America, and Van Zandt is in Asia. So we have to find a good time. So that would be an awesome show. We'll have Willie, we'll have Murad, we'll have Tyler, and it's going to be great. And it's going to be in the morning US time, Saturday morning US time. Saturday evening in Asia. Okay, that's the daily chart. Here is the 12-hour chart. The 12-hour chart is on a bit of a pullback. Now, the 12-hour chart is on a bullish trade using the sequential. Would I make this trade? Absolutely not, because the daily chart is in a no trade zone. Bitcoin is not interesting to me when it's in a no trade zone. If Bitcoin can break out above 53.50, I will take on the long trade. If it breaks down, I may take on the long trade. I don't know. I would take on the long trade if my job was trading, but my job isn't trading. If I was sitting at home watching the price like a hawk and always in front of the market, I would take the long trade above 53.50. I would also take the short trade below 49.50. At the moment, I wouldn't trade Bitcoin. I would look for other tradable opportunities. The 4-hour chart hit a perfected 9 and should be pulling back for 1 to 4 candles. Where is it likely to pull back to before potentially going up into the countdown phase? Well, the most likely candidate would, of course, be the prior swing high vicinity. I like the CMF here, and that could be possible. It's also where the moving average support is. The 1 hour chart is totally useless, so I'm not gonna bother. Now, this is the leverage. This is the Bitcoin leverage on Bitfinex. They're both pretty low. Now, this ratio right here, now the ratio is in blue, and the ratio is longs versus shorts. There is definitely more longs than shorts, and this does favor the shorts. The GBTC is back at a somewhat high premium of 30%. That's a pretty high premium. I would love to short this, but unfortunately I can't in a retirement account. So I have to wait for the premium to drop. I have to wait for the price to drop, and then I can buy GBTC again. This is that one chart that allows me to be potentially bullish that the bottom is in. We will certainly discuss this chart on our Saturday morning show. Gold continues to be an utter disaster. However, because it's on an 8 weekly, and what is it on the daily? It is on a 5 and 8 daily. So there could be a beautiful buying opportunity in gold in about 4 days when it's hitting a 9-13 daily with a 9 weekly. Is this the kind of buying opportunity that's going to send you to new all-time highs? Absolutely not. Because of the general bearish nature of gold, this could lead to a 1 to 4 candle correction, and this could be the very last, upswing for gold. As long as it stays below 1320, like there's not going to be that much. Like in a perfect world, gold will fall down to 1260, and then you can take a tradable bounce off of it to around the $1,300 mark. Watch it get rejected and get smacked all the way down to under $1,000, which is something I'm still expecting because I am bullish on the S&P. Now, being bullish on the S&P clearly did not work out today, as the S&P has given us some reversal candles at the top. Now, the current sequential daily situation is saying that there should be more upside. We hit yet another 9. We slowed down for a few days, but we have now entered the countdown phase of the latest 9. While we're still working on a countdown phase from a 9 back in February, and after this countdown phase is over, there is another countdown happening from the 9 in March, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 nines in. Interesting. Now, that's a 9 from here. That's a 9 from there. Hold on a second. Let me reset this. Right. Okay. Yeah, they're a little hard to keep track of. But yes. So that's what we're working with. So this is a, oh wait, I'm sorry. We finished the 13 from this 9, from the 9 in February is finished. Now we have the 13 from the 9 in March. That's what was confusing me. I'm like, what happened to here? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, guys, I had to sneeze, so I paused, muted. And we're going to have another 13 to complete this 9, and then there'll be another 13 to maybe complete that 9. So I remain kind of bullish here on the daily chart. Let's look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart is very bullish on a 5 and a 5, okay? So the weekly chart is pretty bullish, but I think the combo 13 is coming in like a candle or two, so please be careful. Lyft, Lyft rallied at the end of the day. I was looking at Lyft earlier today, and it was still stuck at 57. So Lyft actually rallied. So here's the thing, right? If Lyft rallies from here, I will have missed my trade. Do you think I care that I missed my trade in Lyft? I don't. Okay. I was only going to buy Lyft, and I was going to show you where I buy Lyft if Lyft gave me the perfect buying opportunity. That perfect buying opportunity would have came on Friday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday at a price below $50. Now, Lyft never made it below $50. It also didn't make it on a downtrend to Thursday, Friday, or Monday. And therefore, as a trader, I'm not going to take on a trade that isn't giving me a perfect technical analysis setup. There's always another trade out there with a perfect setup. So to me, this was not a reversal candle. So I had no reason to assume that today was going to be a positive day. So I have no interest in trading Lyft if Lyft starts to rally here. And if Lyft rallies to $200, I don't care. Okay. But if Lyft gives me a perfect buying opportunity, I'll buy it. It can give me a perfect buying opportunity at $70 and I'll buy it. But if it won't, I won't buy it. And Lyft will go on without me. And that's okay because I will take the perfect trade. And it didn't give me the perfect trade. But that's Lyft. Okay. This video has gone very, very long. I actually need to get going. Somebody asked me for some other stock. Was it Grub? I mean, what about it? It's a complete and utter disaster. You don't buy a stock just because it fell too much. It can always fall lower. Grub started at $20. And this may or may not have been a hyperwave. Tyler is the expert there. Maybe he'll take a look at Grub if he sees this video and takes a look at it. Here's the daily chart of Grub. It is absolutely not a buying opportunity. If I had to pick a direction of this thing, I would say it's going significantly lower. And I will assume it's going significantly lower until it stops going any lower. Now, moving average is bunched up and moving average is separated. Now, it has earnings in a couple of weeks. So you guys, like, you got to pick your stocks wisely. Like, I don't understand why you're asking me for Grub when you know earnings is coming. And what do you do on a trade when earnings is coming? You stay out of the trade unless you have some kind of insider information of what earnings are going to be, or you have a trade specifically designed for an earnings strategy. Very few people do. So there's nothing to do on the stock. You wait for earnings and you continue watching it until it finally bottoms out. And there's nothing really here. It's not interesting. It's in a downtrend. Unless you're planning on shorting this thing, which I wouldn't do going into earnings, considering it's lost over 50% of its value. Oh, what a beautiful. Again, those that don't understand sequential and make fun of sequential just clearly aren't interested in what the sequential does. And what the sequential does is it was able to pick out the all-time high of Grub at $150 on the weekly scale. So those of you that did have this indicator last year and were looking at Grub, and this is why it might take me about 6 months of work, but this is why I want to create a notification service for these nines across all assets. And this would be, I'll finally get into the subscription service where we might offer a notification service for the nines and the 13s across most asset classes. And I would have loved to see this notification. I would have shorted the hell out of, actually I can't. I no longer have a trading account. I only have a retirement trading account and I can't short, but I would have bought puts. Nothing wrong with buying puts. Man, you could have bought like $130 puts on the cheap and boom. Oh, amazing trade. Beautiful off the nine. I wonder what the daily did at that time. So the daily also gave you a 9, but not at the top. It was good enough. So the daily came in on August 30th was the daily. The high came in 2 weeks later on September 14. So if we look back at the August 30th candle, man, there it is, right? So which was the August 30th candle? This is the August 27th week. So the August 30th candle would have been the 7 candle. So I would have taken that daily 9 and a weekly 7 very seriously. And this is where, you know, if you were long, this is when you need to start getting out of your position. You know that the 9 is coming in within 2 weeks and you have a daily 9 on grub. You got to scale out of your position. And then once the weekly 9 shows up, you have an opportunity to short for a 1-4 candle correction. But when your 1-4 candle correction turns into a full-blown year-long bear market, you just ride it all the way down. You know, you had this 9 to the upside, you had this 9 to the downside, and this 9 is currently in a countdown phase. So, and you're about to have another 9 on a weekly in 2 weeks. But I believe next week is earnings. Earnings is April 25th, and the current week is April 15th. So so next week is earnings. So that would be an 8 candle. So it's possible you get another 9, which may or may not end the trend. But man, I mean, I would have loved this is why I'm mostly doing the notification service for myself. Because sooner or later I am going to start trading in my family office. That is being, built out, my friend's family office. I'm just not currently involved. But I want to put in this kind of TD notification service so that we're getting notified of the 9s. You still have to have a skill set of trading the 9s, but we can open up the notification service to a subscription for those that are interested. It's just going to be, hey, you got a 9, but you need to know what to do with it. That's it, guys. I'm going to leave it here. Please check out tonevase.com. Check out the calendar. You'll see where I'm going next. We published the pictures. I haven't even had time to look at them. We published the pictures from Understanding Bitcoin Conference. Check them out there. I'm hoping there's a link on the website, and it is. There it is. There are the photos. Thank you, the lovely Daisy, for taking these photos for us. And you can go ahead and click the link. It'll take you to Daisy Coleman's website, the official photographer of all of the Tone Base events. And she's absolutely amazing photographer. Definitely want to hire her for your events if she's available. And go ahead and check out the photos. They're really, really good. She does an amazing job of, well, that's her skill. It's what she does. And here they are. Here are the pictures from Understanding Bitcoin Conference. There's the satellite. This was great. Really, really, really cool stuff. All right, so go ahead and check that out, guys. Oh, really awesome. Oh, wow, that's great. That's an awesome picture. That's really cool. Daisy, amazing. All right. I love how Adam Back wears a name tag that says Adam Back. Like someone Understanding Bitcoin Conference won't know Adam Back. I loved it. It's great. All right. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Check it out. I'm on Daisy's site. If you want to support my work, please check out the affiliate section or the indicator section or the workshop section. Thank you so much. And I will see all of you on the next one.